Florida Senator Rick Scott has a warning for all of you
pink-haired communists.
Don't you dare come to Florida.
Let me give you a travel warning. If you're a socialist, communist, somebody that believes in big government, I would think twice. Think twice if you're thinking about taking a vacation or moving to Florida. We're the free state of Florida. We actually don't believe in socialism. We actually know people, and some people in our state lived under it, and we know people lived under socialism. It's not good. It's not good for anybody. So if you're thinking about it, if you think about coming to Florida and you're a socialist or communist, think twice. We like freedom, liberty, capitalism, things like that.
See, you communists, we don't want your stinking communist money. Wait, what? Okay, now here's the funny thing. Florida has shown us that they do not actually like freedom, liberty, or even capitalism. Okay? So why do I say that? Well, for one, Ron DeSantis has been speaking out against ESG. So what is that? ESG is an investment strategy by large companies that takes environmental, social, and governance issues into account when deciding on where they want to put their money. So now, making the decision of where you want to put your money as a capitalist, the people that have the capital, that's capitalism. And Ron DeSantis is like, we don't want you doing capitalism. We're going to deny you state contracts. That's right, government contracts if you do ESG investing. Who's big government now? Who doesn't believe in capitalism now? Because that ain't capitalism. Well, there's more, by the way. DeSantis also doesn't like it when corporations speak out against things like, for example, his Don't Say Gay bill. And then uses, and then DeSantis will use the big government again to try to harm a company's profit margins. Not very capitalist, is it? No, of course, I'm talking about DeSantis. Rick Scott is the one delivering the message. Well, Rick Scott happened to preside over one of the largest Medicare fraud settlements in the country. Stealing government money for his private business. Oops. That company had to pay $1.7 billion in fines. Again, that was the largest Medicare fraud settlement in the country. Now it's not anymore. That's how bad things have gotten. It's actually gotten worse. But again, not really capitalism, is it? If you're stealing public money, from public programs. Just saying. All right, but what about freedom? Surely. They like freedom, right? In Florida. Florida is synonymous with freedom. No. When it comes to freedom of speech, for example, freedom of expression, banning discussions in colleges about certain topics like critical race theory, that's what they're doing. That's not freedom. Freedom isn't banning into discussion or acknowledgement the existence of LGBTQ people. And banning the books that discuss their experiences from school libraries. Freedom isn't shutting down the free speech of educators when they, discuss things like, hey, we're not really comfortable with all of this anti-gay, anti-trans book banning legislation that you're passing. We as educators think that this is an important resource for people who are LGBTQ. But look, that's what DeSantis is doing. He is crushing freedom, liberty, and capitalism in Florida, in the name of stopping the woke.
Woke.
Because that's all he does. But tell me though, Rick Scott, how's the socialists and the communists? Those are the real problems.
Pink-haired communists.
Exactly. Here's the thing. I actually think that neo-Nazis are more of a problem, especially in Florida, when, because here we have reports saying that anti-Semitic incidences are increasing and have been increasing in Florida as of late. In fact, earlier this month, a couple of neo-Nazi groups held a bunch of different demonstrations. One gathering was outside of Disney World in Orlando, where you had 13 individuals associated with the Order of the Black Sun who demonstrated with swastika flags as well as racist and anti-LGBTQ plus signs, shouting slurs and giving Nazi salutes. There were also 5 individuals associated with the neo-Nazi National Socialist Movement that held an anti-LGBTQ protest in Munn Park in Lakeland, Florida. Although, to be fair, they've got socialist in the name, so obviously they're not welcome there, right? Now, at least 2 individuals who joined the OBS protest were from out of state, and in the Lakeland protest, 4 out of 5 state NSM members were, again, present there. So they're coming in from all over the country. This is Florida's apparently a gathering place for neo-Nazis. Yeah. Now, that said, to be fair to Rick Scott, because we're fair here, okay, there was a neo-Nazi demonstration in Orlando in January of last year. Rick Scott actually called that out and said it was hateful, anti-Semitic, and said it had no place in our state. So he has spoken out against prior neo-Nazi protests. But yeah, as far as the most recent ones earlier this month, we haven't really heard anything about it. Certainly Rick Scott not denouncing them, at least that I know of. But what's more, I guess, concerning than Rick Scott's, than Rick Scott, is Governor Ron DeSantis. So Governor Ron DeSantis hasn't spoken out against any of this. And so that's really important. Ron DeSantis hasn't called out any of the neo-Nazis in Florida. And that's really where all this legislation is coming from. Now, for Scott is virtue signaling. He's trying to tell DeSantis, "Don't worry, I'm on your side." Yeah, I tweaked the neo-Nazis just a little bit, but we really we're against the communists and the socialists. Yeah, so we're against them. Yes. So now here's the thing. In Florida right now, look, Rick Scott is probably salty that there are LGBTQ people that are leaving the state as a result of some of these travel advisories. That's not a lot of them. And look, there's different reasons for it. Some people want to stay and fight. Others don't have the means to leave. Others are not afraid, or living their lives. And so, they're not leaving. So I don't know how much of an exodus of the LGBTQ community there is as a result of this. But, nonetheless, the idea that some people are leaving or avoiding the state of Florida as a result of other, hate bills that they've been passing, the Republicans have been passing, kind of got them a little salty. And there's also probably some salt about the fact that the recent anti-immigration bill is getting some immigrants to leave or not do business in Florida. Truckers in Florida, boycotting the state as well. In fact, I recently talked about some Republicans who had signed a bill to crack down on undocumented immigrants, specifically, making it a crime to transport undocumented immigrants with some pretty hefty fines and even prison time. And look, again, this affects documented immigrants who might have family members that are undocumented. Take them to a doctor's appointment, take them to the grocery store, drive them anywhere. And get busted, and suddenly you're in a world of trouble as someone who has documentation. And so there's a lot of immigrants that are leaving the state. Again, people who are here legally but have, undocumented family members that are working their way through the system, getting out of the state. And nobody really blames them. And I remember one of the Republicans who signed this bill saying, "Oh, don't go. No, this bill is supposed to scare you. This is supposed to scare you, but not actually make you leave. I mean, we're not actually going to We're not actually going to really enforce this. No, 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 no. But what do you think is going to happen when you're openly saying, we're going to come after you? I mean, F around and find out. So basically, they don't want LGBTQ plus people. They don't want the socialists. They want the communists, the Marxists, and the immigrants. But DeSantis seems to be fine with the neo-Nazis coming into the state, or at least, again, won't condemn them. Just refuses to talk about them. Good luck with that. So now, the thing is, though, there are good people still in Florida. I know you're going to say, oh, come on. Come on. There are progressives, there are LGBTQIA plus people that are fighting the good fight in Florida. Like Nadine Smith, for example, of Equality Florida. She's the executive director. She said, look, if you come to Florida, join us in this fight. If you decide to leave or avoid the state, don't abandon this fight. Florida is the front line, but this is a national battle for freedom. And I agree. So here's the thing. If you do not feel safe, I totally get it. You do what you have to do to make sure that you and your family members are safe. But you know, if you're in a safe place, please do what you can to support people in Florida from the outside. If you're in Florida, again, continue to fight. Because right now, it's the conservative experiment. That's what's going on here. It is, I mean, I kind of hate to say it, but it's the conservative
Peachtree dish.
They're testing all of their worst ideas and enacting them in Florida and seeing how it works. How far they can really push the culture wars specifically. And so if you're there and you're in a position to fight back, then you should. Because you might just help someone who can't. And it's most important, again, that if you're in the position, if you have the ability to fight back.